Welcome all you rebels and traders to my new channel. Here to show you some trading strategies, thoughts, and ideas to help you with your journey to financial freedom. I just consider myself a financial activist, actively working towards my fiscal goals, and I want to help you too. Alright, today we're going to show you what I like to call the BJ double pleasure strategy. So it involves two different indicators that you can find on TradingView. So first thing you want to do is you want to bring up a new screen. I have the SPY right here. I have it at the 5-minute candles. And then you're going to go to the indicators tab. Indicators, so the BJ key levels. Bring up our settings. We have inputs and style right here. The inputs, I like to look left as far as possible. So I'm going to crank this bad boy up to 25. The VIX, we're going to look right also up to 20. And this is number of pivots. And bring this down to 2. Yes. Keep your levels a little wider here. Right here. The BJ key levels brings up some blue and yellow lines in the screen here. These are key levels of support and resistance. Makes it really easy for us to see when the price action is either hitting support or hitting resistance, and we can trade accordingly. And the VIX Fix down here, the double pleasure, it's your standard VIX Fix where it shows you local bottoms and where you can potentially get into a position that's going to be a long position. However, the double pleasure, it does provide the sell signals as well, noticed by these little red dots. Now, the author does say that this should only be used for long positions, but you can absolutely use it for the short positions as well. So let's kind of see how this goes. All right, let's look at some of the settings on these indicators here to make sure we're looking at things the right way. So we go into settings on BJ key levels. Now there's a ton of settings here. It's got some really cool features if you want to see different types of candlesticks here, as well as some detections of breakouts, etc. But if we just match the settings that I have on the screen here, so we take this to 22, we crank the pivots down to 2 because we don't need all those lines on the screen, and we make the width a little different, and I think that's it for that. And then we go into our VIX Fix, the double pleasure indicator, and we see the settings on this bad boy. So all that's the same there. You want to make sure you keep the ADX filter on because that will help eliminate a lot of those unnecessary signals. It'll get rid of some bad boys for you there. So that's what we have here for the settings. So the strategy has 3 different parts. The first part is we look at where the price action is, where the candlesticks are. When they are coming up, for example, right here, when it's coming up on one of the BJ levels, we see right here, it has a level here. It's hitting the level, right? The next step is that you look for a red dot. This is for a short position. So we see a red dot right here. The next thing is we look for proper candlestick patterns to indicate that it's going to be a bearish position. So what I look for is dojis, engulfing candles, things of that nature. Now, the BJ key levels, like I said in the settings, does have some of these things. So it has dojis and engulfings, and you can select those. They tend to be a little wonky and not 100% correct, but they are helpful and useful if you're still trying to learn what some of these patterns look like. But as you can see right here, I have a huge, massive candle right here, right after this little red one here. So this is where I would get in right at the end of this candle. I get right in here at a short position. I bring it up kind of right above the stop loss there, and I would just write it down. Now, when it comes to writing this down, you have 2 choices. You can come all the way next to the next BJ level, which is possible, right? I generally tend to be a lot more conservative with my plays, and I see there is some resistance right here, and if I increase the amount of BJ's levels to like a huge amount, there probably is a level right around there as well, right? There's a level right here, and there's a level here. So that's another good tool to help you kind of figure out where you're going to take your stop, right? So that's what I would do in this situation. As you can see, I would take it there, and I would have won in 5 minutes. I would have hit my target, my take profit. Now to look at additionally, you can look at some of these other red levels here, right? And you can see right here, for example, there's lots of red dots here, right? But we're not at a resistance point, right? So there's the price is going to keep going up, right? So there's no need to get in any positions here, even though it could, right? Makes sense? As we go further up the chart, we can see some red positions here. Again, there's a red position. There is some resistance, but there's no large red candles, no bearish candles of any kind to make it seem like that would be a position to get into. Up here, you can kind of see this red candle here, and this is slightly bearish, and you may have gotten into this position, but it would not have been ideal, obviously. But if you hold it long enough, you can see it still reaches down to that next target level. It would have stopped out, but if you would have just held it, you could have eventually profited on it. Because this is indicating that, hey, their sentiment is getting bearish and more bearish on this position. Eventually, it's going to fold, right? So as you go up here, you can see the same thing here. There's lots of other old BJ high-level lines here, so you know it wasn't going to go too much further past all these resistance lines. So we're looking for bearish sentiment. This is the same size as this candle. This is not even close to this yet, so it's not 100% bearish yet. So you just keep rolling, until we hot to this one. All right, now let's look at some bullish positions, all right? So this is live feed on the SPY right now, so you can see that first position where I took that short and it creeped down all the way down to this level right here. You can see right here, I see a lot of green dots. So the green dots are the traditional VIX fix. This is the bottom, the local bottom of the market. It may be a good time to take a long position, right? So look at these green dots, and there's no support here. There's no blue BJ levels here to indicate that it's going to go up particularly, right? So I would ignore this. I would ignore all these green dots. I would ignore these green dots, again, because you're hitting resistance, not support. I would ignore all these, but I can tell that the sentiment is getting, hey, the market wants to go up. The market wants to go long. You can tell just by here. And then once I get to these green levels, these green dots here, I see that it hit this support line right there with a nice hammer candlestick, which is quite a bullish sentiment of a candlestick there. So you can get into a long position here right at the end of that one, and you can set your stop loss. I don't see any other things here, but I would set my stop loss somewhere around the support down here, and you could ride this up as a first take profit maybe around this level, and if it keeps going back up to this level, you might be good as well. And we could sit here and watch this, but I'd rather look at some other options. So let's go back, and we're going to find some more green dots. Oh, so Chris, you can see some green dots here, but again, no support. Even though this is a good position, there's still no support here. If you go back a little further, same thing, green dot here, but no support. I would not have gotten into a position here. Clearly, it would have been a good one, though. Going back further, here we go. So this support line, you can see it's got a nice blue bar here, but that wouldn't exist yet because that's not the way this works. So if you hit the replay and we go back in time to right here and we play, you can see there's no blue line there. All right, you see the green dots are forming, but I don't have any support here. So I don't know that's a support from the BJ indicator. I do know that's a support from looking left on my chart, but basically I don't see the level there yet until it starts to populate right there. So as it populated right here, well past our time, right? So this position we would not have been able to get into. Whenever you're looking at any kind of indicators, you always want to look for repainting, because repainting will often, you'll think you have an amazing strategy, and then when you go to actually implement it, you'll find that you're stuck holding the bag. So be careful with all of that. So to continue to find actual good points, we'll go back to these green ones. Again, this position wouldn't exist, so you wouldn't have gone to it. This is not at a support, so you wouldn't have done it. No support, no support, no support. Down here, we see blue. So we finally see some green dots here. Similarly, there's going to be, this support would absolutely have existed prior to those green dots being popped, right? So if we're looking at it, you can see that our BJ support line is here, right? You'll see the candles are forming, and you'll see the green dot pop up here in a second. So I see a green dot, okay? But what am I waiting for? I'm waiting on a bullish candle to pop up. Let's see if anything happens. All right, so I see a very long, big green bullish candle here. This is when I would have jumped into this position here, right? I set my stop loss here, right? Because this is a level. This is what BJ has indicated as a level. I generally pick the middle of the box. And then I would ride it up to the next level. It's already here, so I wouldn't have picked this one. And I'd go to right there, and that'd be my first take profit. And there we go. And we'll let the candlesticks play out. And as you can see, as we already know, it crushed it, right? So this is a nice little move right here, and that enables us to take a little profit on the SPY. So let's go back and look at some of the other positions. So green dots here, you can see Literally, this is one position over. I see a little more green dots, so I know a bullish position is pending. And this is actually the same position if you think about it. But you're getting here, I see this supply line would have already been there. So I'm just waiting. I see green dot, green dot, green dot. I don't see any bullish candles, right? I don't see anything indicating the position is going to go up until I get to this big boy right here. And yeah, I jump in right here. And I set it again in the middle of down here for this. And I would set this up here again, same as before, and it actually hits the same spot. Yeah, it kind of goes up and down a bit, and you're like, oh my God, you're getting stressed out here, but it still carries through. All right, other things to note about this is that the 3 parts are super important. So you got your support lines, your resistance lines, and then you want to make sure you look at your double pleasure to make sure it's green dot, red dot, and then those candlestick types. So always make sure you know what a bullish candles are looking like and your bearish candles are looking like, so you're not going to be trying to take a long position when all the candles are red, right? You want to wait until the price action tells you that something has changed. All right, thank you so much, everybody. I hope to see you on the next video. I have some amazing links down below if you want to take a click, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.